Bart keeps texting me about vasectomies. I'm just gonna give him Andy's number right here.
I'll walk him
Talk
there.
to him. Andy will live tweet it for you.
Dude, I remember going over after Andy got his vasectomy, and I was like, okay, he just had a major medical thing. I'm gonna go say hi, and he's like, hey, you wanna see my balls?
Like, yeah.
No.
You're as big as they ever have been.
Hello, I am Robert Stack, and you are listening to the Ask Casters podcast.
After one of the most epic podcasts in all podcast history, basically the Jordan flu game of podcast, what did Michael Jordan do after the flu game? He closed the series out with 39 points to take out and close the series against the Utah Jazz. What do we do at episode 7 of the Ask Casters podcast after the Andy flu game, which was a result of some unfortunate decision-making made at a bar called Jerry's?
Scaries.
We now have more details about what happened at Jerry's that night before we recorded episode 6, which many people have downloaded, and we appreciate your downloads.
Belgium, please reach out. We just want to know who you guys are, because you guys are the real deal. Thank you for the daily downloads, or the weekly downloads.
Belgium, we are thinking of a remote site visit to probably Antwerp. And we're going to go out there and we are going to podcast live from your version of Jerry's. So anyway, it was a...
Badonk.
Badonk. That's what's up.
They have Antwerp.
Well, yeah,
Badonk
badonk. It says
says
thank you. And
Oh, I thought you were talking
well,
about
it's Dutch.
I thought we were talking about
Cities.
Well, no, I thought we were
Badonkadonks?
talking about
Badonkadonks?
sexy women shaking their booties.
Oh, I'm sure there's a lot of that going on in Belgium, though.
I will twerk in Antwerp.
Ooh,
Sure, that's
there we
gonna go
go.
very
Yeah,
well.
your ass is very hazardous in Belgium.
When you got 5 tattoos, your ass is a spectacle. So these people are going to love it.
Anyways, continue on, Andy.
I have another video that we will talk about from one of the best Twitter handles at Chaotic Nightclub Photos that we can talk about that just came to my head as you talked about that. But anyway, we will give you more insight as to why Andy puked on a live podcast, Schwammy puked in his own pillow and came over here after he suggested that he has never experienced these things called hangovers. And Carlos ended up at a great bar the night before, obviously had a great time on the podcast. We have many topics to talk about that will actually be sports related, as I think this podcast is supposed to be about in some format. But we're going to have to put our legal hat on today because we have Deshaun Watson's situation has been figured out to some extent. Brittney Griner's situation now has at least a little bit more details. How will her situation ultimately end up? We have football starting. We have the very first Hall of Fame game took place last night. So we got an insight into what the Raiders and Jaguars might look like. Why did Josh Jacobs take so many snaps last night? That was a little bit weird.
You speaking English right now?
No. Training camps are starting.
Put your dentures back in.
Probably there are 2 other
He
topics.
just got done making some money.
I'm not playing craps on my phone currently. We must discuss one of the probably new Mount Rushmore of all-time names in sports, Jizz, the soccer player.
Jizz Hornkamp.
Who
Horn.
And what was
With
the
a capital fucking.
What was the language? What was the language used about his 4 goals?
Internet loses its mind as soccer player Jizz Hornkamp pumps in 4 goals.
Pumps in 4 goals. For some reason, Jizz Hornkamp.
He is Dutch, by the way.
Oh!
Yeah. So he plays in the Dutch league, which is it's the Divise.
I thought didn't he transfer over though?
I don't know. This might be outdated, but this is good stuff though.
Finally, if we get there, a non-sports related topic, but very, very important. Roger Waters from Pink Floyd still making the rounds in the Continental 48 and coming to our little neck of the woods, pretty close to us here, fairly shortly. We may be able to dabble into that.
You mentioned a legal hat. Don't forget that Joel broke a family. He owes some sort of legal fees for that debacle. I'm sure of it.
We know. I don't think he paid him. But
That's it. He owes them.
yeah.
Like Shakira, 23 million in the hole.
Joel's probably about 23,000 in the hole. He probably has a child out there that he needs to, pick up the slack on.
JT.
Also named Jizz.
Hornkamp.
Jizz Timothy.
JT Smith, baby.
Why is the top of your bald head so creamy? My name is Jizz.
I drive a Jeep.
And I like cocoa
And I'm
butter.
18 months old. Just trying to be like Daddy.
Joel, we're going to keep talking shit on you until you make an appearance on this podcast
Yeah, we need your insight. So,
about how to break families.
At the local bar.
By the Chinese
At
restaurant.
least he was shopping local. Supporting the local economy,
so let's tee it off with where we now are with the Cleveland Browns, Deshaun Watson, and a 6-game suspension. Scrode, what do you think of the length of the suspension? You can talk appeal if you like. What are your thoughts?
This is... It's... I don't know. It's just a weird situation. Goodell ultimately gets to say what happens. Am I correct on that?
No, they appealed it. He can't. Well, I guess I don't know because the judge passed down the suspension, but it was a recommendation.
And that's why it goes to the appeal, and it comes back to Goodell.
But the
And
appeal is for more time. They want
Exactly.
a year and a hefty fine.
Right.
So
So
he's at a loss for words. I'll take it over.
Thank you.
This guy needs to be banned from the NFL.
Okay.
Are you kidding me? You gave a 1-year suspension to Calvin Ridley for betting $1,500 on a team that he was not even part of. You gave Tom Brady 4 games for quote-unquote deflating a football that he didn't even touch before a game. Come on. Didn't Adrian Peterson get banned or suspended
He got
longer for apparently beating his kid up?
I think with a switch, yeah.
Yeah. That's 24 allegations
So let's
of
go.
sexual misconduct, and he gets 6 games?
Let's
Come
let's
on.
go through this list of interesting NFL suspensions. So we'll start with what we just said with Deshaun Watson. 6 games. 25 total sexual accusations. Other NFL suspensions. Calvin Ridley, 17 games for betting. Vontez Burfict, 12 games for targeting. Twice the suspension. DeAndre Hopkins, 6 games PED. We can talk about that later. That's going to be interesting.
Hey, does one of you have music going?
Yep.
Thank you.
So now we don't.
Who's Selena Gomez?
Martavis Bryant, suspended indefinitely because of a weed suspension. Josh Gordon, indefinitely. Josh, and I had him that year, so he was indefinitely suspended. I drafted him. I'm so
All
sad.
the terrible
He-
things to you.
Definitely was.
Josh
suspended.
Gordon, one of Baylor's finest products that they've ever put out. 25-plus games for weed. Darren Waller, 16 games substance abuse.
You're forgetting our boy Falcon. what's his name? Quarterback.
Matt Ryan?
No, Michael Vick.
Michael
Oh.
Vick. That is, I mean, how much did he get? Well, besides going to jail, the suspension from the NFL.
Cockfight.
He was fighting dogs. He wasn't fighting cocks.
He was fighting cock.
He was
Roosters.
fighting dogs with
Roosters.
huge cocks.
He's fighting dogs. He's from the South.
He was
Dogs
a cocksucker.
fight down there, I'm assuming.
He was a cocksucker.
Go upstairs.
So, specific to Michael Vick, if we want to talk about how the NFL reacted, Michael Vick actually became the first player in NFL history to sign 2 contracts of over $100 million. The second one was after all of the shit he ran into.
Go back to the Deshaun Watson thing, though. I mean, how pissed are the other players that got a longer suspension than he did for something
Well, it sounds
definitely
like,
not
it
as
sounds
bad?
like half of them are high on weed and probably don't care.
Well, you know, I mean, you got to think, like, the NFLPA, Player Association, is probably going to be pretty ticked off unless he gets a year suspension.
So here's what's going to happen, at least logistically. So suspension was given out 6 games. NFL is going to try to save face on their end by recommending a longer suspension, which then is going to be probably because they're going to have to make an appeal. And then I think that appeal is going to have to probably be countersued, I think, is the legalese, and that's going to be by the Players Association.
The NFL's appeal addresses whether, based on the findings made by Judge Robinson, that discipline should be modified to include a professional evaluation and treatment as determined by medical experts, an appropriate fine, and a longer suspension, the league said in the statement. So it's the league's appeal to the judge's not decision,
Her
but
findings.
her
recommendations.
and recommendations.
Who
Yeah,
they
thank you.
independently contracted, correct?
Yeah. This is the most Browns thing ever. Pay this guy how much? 200 and what?
I think
40?
he's 230. I think he's 230 guaranteed.
That is
The
hilarious.
most guaranteed money in the history of contracts. In the
Is there a
NFL.
clause in there that says none of this is guaranteed if he is suspended? None of that?
Not that I'm aware
So
of.
they're still going to pay him a buttload of money, even if he gets suspended for 6 or 18 games. 18 games. However.
It's probably the worst contract written in sports.
How do you sit in that clubhouse or that locker room and bust your ass for preseason, OTAs, all of that? Get injured like most NFL players do, rehab, try to come back. The gruel of an NFL season.
Who is their backup? Jacoby Brissett, baby. Oh.
Who's been serviceable?
He'll
Like-
win you a game, but he is not. He's a game manager. He's not going to go out and sling the ball.
Yeah. And
So guess who I'm drafting as my number 1 overall running back?
Jacoby Brissett.
Running back.
Nick Chubb.
Nick Chubb, baby.
But
That guy
they'll
is
be
gonna
down
get-
by so many points they won't be running the football.
Their
anymore.
defense is actually pretty
their defense
decent.
is stacked.
Not if
Yeah.
they're on the field for 75% of the game
Oh no! I mean,
That's a
if
good
Nick
point.
Chubb is running for 200 yards,
with Baker Mayfield.
Baker
I-
Mayfield's gone.
I think Cleveland's going to find out a little bit in these first 6 games what they had with Baker Mayfield.
Absolutely.
So what they have in Deshaun Watson, I think, is still to be determined. What Deshaun Watson did down in Houston, we know, but he had some pretty good weapons. He's got good weapons in Cleveland as well, so we can't say.
Jarvis Landry left. He's in New Orleans now. Who do they have at the receiver there? I don't really think he's got really the weapons he had
Let me pull him up.
down in Houston. So he had obviously DeAndre Hopkins down there. He had the Notre Dame guy, right? Receiver. Well, he had Kenny Stills for a bit.
Kenny Stills, and then he had William. What was his name?
Full.
Well, yeah, Will Fuller. Yeah, Will
Fuller,
Fuller,
yeah.
the fourth or something like that.
Did you almost call him Willie Am? Like Will I Am?
Will I
from,
Am
like, from
Fuller.
Outcast?
We'll have to see his. If his
That's
beats are
Fergalicious.
sick. Are his beats sick?
Yeah, I don't see it. I don't see the Deshaun Watson thing working in Cleveland. If
I
the
think
Baker Mayfield thing didn't work, I just don't see it.
But I think the Baker Mayfield thing did work. I mean, they
It
won
did.
playoff games for the first time since the 90s, and then they decided that Baker Mayfield wasn't good. I mean, that relationship just soured really, really fucking quickly.
I
In
wonder
18
who.
months,
I wonder who soured it first.
who do you think?
Was it the player or was it the organization? Because historically, the Browns are just a shit show.
I would
and
agree with
Baker,
you.
Baker's definitely got an attitude.
And well, with the what was revealed with Lovie Smith and what he accused the franchise of, and you're Baker Mayfield, and you've been through that, and now you're going through this shit. Like, I think he's sitting at this Deshaun. I don't know how he feels about Deshaun Watson.
Who, Baker?
Baker, like,
He doesn't care. He's in Carolina now. Who cares? He's got to beat out Cam Newton. Come on. Hell, see you later.
so is he more motivated than ever this
I
year?
bet you he is. Because don't they play Carolina week 1?
I believe that is true.
That is. Yeah.
Cleveland wide receiver core, just so we can figure out what weapons Jacoby
Brissett.
And yeah, so here we go. Amari Cooper landed there. Okay.
Amari Cooper. Oh, the guy from Dallas?
Who the Dallas Cowboys
Formerly.
desperately need.
Formerly Raiders. And Donovan Multiple Peoples Jones, one of the most fascinating names in all of football. And it looks.
So they don't have anybody.
I mean,
They
Amari
don't have
Cooper,
Do they have a true, like, wide receiver number 1? Do they have a true
No, Amari
number 1?
Cooper. I think Amari Cooper still got some gas in the tank. Like, he was good. He was good with Dallas.
Is he going to have as much with Jacoby Brissett throwing him the ball?
Oh, I mean, no, of course not. Those first 6 games are going to be pretty
So can you
rough.
say that Cleveland could potentially go 0-6 in the first 6 weeks?
They won't be that bad. I wouldn't think.
Their defense will keep them in it, but again, Nick Chubb.
I don't think that. Well, let's see what their record or their schedule is.
It should be pretty brutal. I mean, I don't know.
They have to play the Steelers twice. They have to play.
Steelers are not going to be very good.
They can't even name their own stadium.
Which was once named after ketchup.
Yeah, that's. Did you know? Sidebar: did you know that they make sugarless ketchup?
Yeah.
Did you
I
know that-
accidentally bought a bottle of it, and it's disgusting.
Is it really?
It doesn't. It's terrible.
Dude,
Yeah.
I kind of want to try it.
Did you know
I don't know,
Europe, they
man.
have ketchup popsicles?
Oh,
I think they have.
I don't want to say Europeans are
Trashy.
because we have listeners in Belgium, and I'm sure Belgians are not.
This is
But-
specifically to the west part of Europe.
I was gonna say this sounds like a bunch of
Yeah.
England.
This has
you know,
nothing
The
to do-
UK.
This is UK
Yeah.
people
Mhm.
freaking dipping in their
warm beer and
Ugh.
scones.
Ew.
Cleveland's
With their
first
teeth.
Cleveland's first 6 games. Trying to figure out.
So
if
they
I
play
can see-
Carolina.
Carolina, game 1. Then they're going to be on the road against
muted.
the New York Jets.
Upstairs.
They're going to be Pittsburgh.
Okay. So they
Oh.
could potentially either beat Carolina or Pittsburgh. So let's just say they're 1-1
Well,
there.
they could beat. I mean,
They are
Carolina's beatable. New York's beatable. Pittsburgh.
Well, New York's definitely beatable, so
yeah,
they'll
New
win
York's
there.
New York's the second game. Pittsburgh's the third game. Atlanta's the fourth game. Chargers, they're gonna get.
So
crushed
they have a legitimately shot at being 3-0 before they get demolished by the Chargers.
Well, there'd be 4 games because you got Carolina, New York, Pittsburgh,
Pittsburgh. Okay, I
Atlanta.
missed. Yeah. Okay.
So 4 games.
I missed
So they
Atlanta,
could
yeah.
go 4-0 potentially, and then they'll get reality to hit them when Justin Herbert probably throws for 400 yards against them, and then your Cleveland or your New England Patriots play them week 6.
We'll paint the floor with them. No problem. Week 6.
Week 6.
Oh, good.
And then
Good for us.
Then their schedule gets significantly harder once Deshaun
So if
Watson comes back.
What if he doesn't though? What if he's out 12 games? Or the whole year? I'm sorry, not
I don't
12.
think that. I don't think he's coming
I
back.
don't know. You don't think
I
he's
think
coming
I
back?
think he's getting suspended the whole year.
Yeah, I think he's gone for the whole year.
He has to. There's no way the NFL is gonna let this PR debacle go on.
Especially during October when you have all the breast cancer awareness pink crap going. I mean, it's great. It's a great cause. Don't get me
You
wrong.
call it crap.
You know, that was not the best.
Words are powerful.
You know,
Yeah,
and I
you
suck
gotta
at
be
them.
careful. There's people listening to this, like 8 of them.
In Belgium.
Well, we had 9, and I hurt his feelings. God damn it! What were we talking about?
Something about breast awareness.
Oh, but
and
they. I mean,
save the titties.
Well, what ground do they have to stand on as an organization that values women if you let this guy come back after 6 games, after 24 women?
Did the women in Cleveland really need like that support though? That's got to be a tough crowd. They just want to win, apparently.
The argument's going to be that there hasn't been any criminal charges that he was found guilty of.
He settled with 24.
25.
He hasn't. Yeah, I think he's got one more that he's got to settle with.
But that would be the argument from...
Man, if I'm that 25th girl, I am holding out.
That is a long train.
I don't care. I mean, you talk about somebody to stand up for women's rights. I mean, Jesus, you hold off, girl.
Hear me
Get that
roar.
guy suspended.
She's probably an Irish girl named Karen McCarran.
Or
She's a
Tiffany
lot
McGregor.
Tiffany McGregor.
Tiffany McGregor. He's a lot of fish sticks and ketchup.
Ketchup
And boiled
popsicles.
chicken.
Yeah.
So when Deshaun Watson does get back, week 7, shit gets real for them. Here's the schedule, week 7 moving forward: at Baltimore versus Cincinnati, at Miami,
Loss.
at Buffalo,
They'll be Miami.
versus Tampa, at Houston, at Cincinnati, at Baltimore versus New Orleans, who's going to be fucking good this year. We can talk about that. At Washington. So have fun.
That's a brutal schedule.
They deserve it.
You think that, again, going back to Baker Mayfield being there and Cleveland fucking this up as an organization, they are really going to find out what they lost.
Cleveland's gonna Cleveland.
Cleveland's going to Cleveland.
That's got to be heartbreaking. Like, I have been very lucky with the teams I watch and follow, and I'm getting older now. It really doesn't matter. But
Except for the Cowboys. That's a
oh no, the Cowboys.
slippery slope for you.
But to see your team repeatedly fuck themselves sideways, up and down, backside, Dutch door action,
Doggy style.
doggy style,
Every position. The Kama Sutra, baby.
the flowering lotus.
Did I ever
The
tell
Dutch rotor.
Did I ever tell you
Our
about
people in Belgium know what that is.
That's
Shout
how-
out to you guys for inventing the Dutch rotor.
That's how they get through the canals.
The Dutch rotor?
Yeah, the Dutch rudder.
Well, that's a different Dutch rotor we're talking about. Yeah.
Okay.
This is you hold mine, I hold yours. And yeah.
Remember me to tell you guys a story about the Snuggie Sutra.
Andy, how many times do we have to tell you? We don't want to hear about you banging redheads.
He banged a gordina. That's what it was.
Done a couple of them.
All right, so it's looking really dark in Cleveland. Really dark.
Cleveland's got some issues.
They're done.
They are issues.
Yeah. Issues were born in Cleveland.
Football-wise, let's see. Anything else super exciting happened? Oh, Denver lost their number 2 wide receiver.
Who are we talking about? So Jerry Jeudy is going to be
He's going to
just
step. He is going
top
to
of the
step.
charts in fantasy.
He will be somebody that fantasy.
Who's Denver's number 2?
Well,
Cortland Sutton.
no, he's their number 1.
Oh, so Cortland Sutton, I would think Jerry Jeudy would.
He was their number 3. They were considering him for more of like a slot receiver type guy, but so now I think this is probably the right slot for him to fit in, because I think he is probably legitimately a number 2. So we've got, let's see.
I think I can type fast.
They've already kicked our boy Tim Patrick out of the lineup. So, number 1 wide receiver, Denver, Cortland Sutton. Jerry Jeudy's going to move to the number 2. KJ Hamler, who I believe actually was another one of Denver's wide receivers that tore an ACL within the last couple of seasons.
So is that who they lost? Who did they lose?
Tim Patrick's the guy that they lost. So, I believe this is correct, so I'm shooting from the hip a little bit, but I think in the last 3 seasons, Denver has lost a wide receiver for the year to some type of an injury in the last 3 seasons. So this is the third. So this is a big hit for, man, I don't know. I guess, what do you guys think?
Well, I don't know. I guess I hadn't heard of the other guy. I thought Jerry Jeudy was their number 2. So in my eyes, it doesn't really change a whole lot. I don't really follow the Broncos that much, but I mean, I think they're still in line to finish 3rd in the division.
Well, I have Kansas City finishing 4th.
Ooh.
So I have it Chargers,
Broncos.
Oakland, Broncos.
They're
Chiefs.
located in Las Vegas,
We
by the way.
talk about that division is just
It's nasty.
disgusting.
Herbert is going to have a year.
Yeah, he is. Their defense is nasty.
That whole team.
They
is
have a
nasty.
Bosa in that team. That is all you need to know. See you
They
later.
had a Lene Kaku at one point.
Yeah, they also had a Mentai Teo.
12th man on the field, never got called.
She was imaginary.
That's when they it's like Manti Teo had 7.5 sacks in 2 weeks. Maybe Lene Kaku was the half sack.
Maybe she was the other 7.
Yeah, I was going to say, who knows? Yeah. Mentai Teo.
So, yeah, I mean, that division is going to be a mess. Russell Wilson is finally, not like Russell Wilson was getting away from subpar wide receivers in Seattle, but he was getting away from a subpar team. And now he had some hope. Man, I think that Tim Patrick thing is going to sting him. That division, you just are not going to be able to take injuries and keep your head above
But
water.
their defense is legit.
Their defense was great last year, and they were fucking awful. Now, granted, Russell Wilson's going to change that dynamic to some extent, but I mean that you're starting to already take your.
Oh, it's terrible. I mean, but Russell Wilson's a big upgrade compared to who they have last year. Drew Luck. Jesus.
Not Drew Luck.
Lock.
Drew Lock. I mean,
Yeah.
Andrew Luck would be.
Retired.
Yeah,
He'd still be a better pick over Drew Lock.
he can't really turn his neck.
He would still be.
He
better
can't see
than
the
Drew
blind
Lock.
side.
He'd still be better than Drew
He
Lock.
needs a Sandra Bullock.
Okay, so let's walk through what you were talking about there, Scrode. Let's talk about the AFC West and how you project the teams to finish. I think it's, I don't know if I'll call it hot take-ish, but for you to put the Kansas City Chiefs at 4 is probably not everybody's pick. So walk us through 1 through 4.
I think the Chargers are just ready to explode on the scene. I mean, we all kind
like Jizz, the football player.
He's going to pound 4 goals in. They're going to pound 4 goals
They're
in.
going to pound a lot of things.
The Chiefs' schedule is just too brutal. It's just too brutal, and that division's too brutal. Their defense is even worse than it was. Their offense is worse than it was. Patrick Mahomes is the man, but he can only do so much.
Okay. So I guess you're going in reverse order here. So you've got KC at 4. Who do you have at 3?
I've got the Broncos.
Okay.
I think Russell Wilson will be an upgrade, but again, we have the.
It's year 1 too, so don't forget that.
It's
gonna
year
be
1.
tough.
We've already addressed the injury concerns. They lost a few people on defense, and then your Las Vegas Raiders.
Thank you. They're not from Oakland.
Hey, I'm learning. Your Las Vegas Raiders, they have a great offensive line. Carr, I think he's one of the most underrated quarterbacks in the league.
Continually, yeah.
No one talks about him. Jared Waller, is that Jared? Jared Waller? Is that his name?
Who?
Waller.
The tight end.
Oh,
tight
the
end.
tight end?
Yeah.
Yeah, Waller. The
He's
drug
a-
addict that got clean.
Yeah, he has an awesome story. Way to go, Waller. But he is nasty. That dude is good. He has a great catch radius. He's fast. He's quick.
Big. He's
Big, yeah.
big.
He's a big dude.
The only thing I question with the Chargers is their head coach.
I am totally with you on that.
Staley or Staley or whatever his name is. What?
Analytics nerd. I mean, speaking of Vegas, at the end of the season, they gave up a game. The Chargers.
Yeah.
They gave up a game
On analytics.
directly to coaching.
100%.
Brandon Staley.
Yeah.
So
That's the only thing that is going to keep that team from winning.
Carlos,
Inexperience.
give us your 1 through 4. Or you could go the Scrode way and go 4 through 1 on your AFC West.
I go the back door.
Fourth, I'll put the Broncos there for sure.
For 4.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think they're. I mean, upside for sure. I think they're the Chargers. I think the Broncos are where the Chargers were about 3 years ago. You know, good defense, not a whole lot of offense, so it'll be different. I'll put the Raiders at 3. The Las Vegas Raiders. I think there's been a lot of talk about that team, but I think it's gonna take a little bit.
Josh Jacobs is already rearing up for
Yeah, but they
carries.
need a new head coach though too. It's all about continuity. You know, I'll put the Chiefs at 2, just because they have continuity. They lost some pieces, yeah, but they do have a head coach that's been there for a while. He knows how to win games. And then I agree with you. I think the Chargers will win it. I like the Chargers, but the concern is the head coach. I really do think it comes down to head coach and the decisions that you have to make in close games. That's why I'm giving the Chiefs a chance. So, I don't know. It'll be interesting for sure. It'll be good to watch. It's gonna be fun.
I think it's going to be the best division of football to watch. Andy, what is your 4 through 1 or 1 through 4?
So I'll go 4 through 1. Maybe it's the pessimist in me. I think Raiders are going to end up 4. I think they're going to be exactly who they were last year. I don't think really anything's changed. Offensively, they are the exact same team. Defensively, I mean, they're good, but I don't think there's anything significant enough for me to move them up in that division. And then going to 3, I think Denver's going to be 3. I think Russell Wilson's going to be pretty solid. Even if Russell Wilson didn't have wide receiver weapons, I think he'd almost still be good enough to get him to 3 because their running backs are fucking good.
Yeah, and I mean, if you look at the division too, defenses are it's an offense-driven division, and with Russell Wilson's ability to scramble, it might be okay. But didn't mean to interrupt you there. But go on.
Denver has been so bad at quarterback that I think we forget what that team would look like with a good quarterback.
Well, look at the last time they won a Super Bowl.
Peyton
Peyton Manning
Manning
couldn't throw the ball more than 25 yards.
Peyton Manning won that Super Bowl with
The
a
defense.
noodle arm.
The
Yeah,
defense. won the
Von
Super
Miller won that Super Bowl.
yeah, yep. Hashtag Mulvane Casino. I
That
think.
was wild. Yeah. I watched a man get tossed out of that casino
I think,
at 3
yeah,
in the morning. You were there.
I was?
I'm glad you stopped drinking.
Go
we
ahead.
all got a room with your mom and dad, Old Top and Crazy Sharon.
In Mul Vegas?
Yep.
I've never stayed in Mul Vegas.
Oh, you stay that night.
I've never stayed in Mul Vegas.
Oh, okay. Right. Maybe you didn't stay. Maybe this is the Jalen story all over from Las Vegas when he stayed in our room and we didn't
I think this is probably
realize that he stayed with us.
See, you fuckers. You guys try to throw shit past me like that. but
Okay,
hey.
so who's number 2 and who's number 1 for you?
Number 2 is Kansas City for me, and it's strictly because of the schedule. So the defense for Kansas City's got me pretty damn worried. I think they've got some super issues there, but not issues that Patrick Mahomes can't throw his way out of. But I think what's going to be interesting for Kansas City is we just got to figure out what this new wide receiver core means. Like MVS, who I'm going to call him because I can't do his full name.
Marquez Valdez-Scantling.
I don't know what he is as a number 1 receiver, but that's where Kansas City's going to put him.
He's not number 1.
He's not.
I think Juju's going to be number 1.
I think he's got a good shot of ending up there. And then Sky Moore's their deep guy.
Well, yeah. By the way, did you see that thing on Twitter where they showed Mahomes throwing to Sky Moore?
Mm-hmm.
That dude smoked the DB by like 15 yards. He is so fast. He go to Baylor, right?
Yeah.
From
I think
Baylor.
so.
I don't remember.
And by the way, Josh Gordon's still there. He's
Not
fine.
at Baylor.
No. Yeah, I hope not.
He's got 12 hours.
They have a dispensary on campus.
There is a weed dealer making a lot of money.
Hey,
By the way,
Yeah,
this is
down
probably a
there.
good time to mention that if you go to 3chai.com, we use it because obviously you can tell as we speak, we probably need a way to calm down, sleep, and relax. So
Yeah.
that's what we use 3chai.com for.
I did a mistake and I ate 2 of those a couple nights ago.
The
And-
gummies?
Yeah.
Oh.
And I was reminding myself how to breathe every 2 seconds. I'm like sitting downstairs watching a movie. I'm like, okay, I think it's been about 10 minutes since I take a breath. Like, I need to breathe.
And
Continue on.
you use the Delta 8, 9s, and 10s.
I watched Blazing Saddles recently.
That would
while
suggest-
watching.
Yeah.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
What a
I
movie.
watched Star Trek last night.
Which one?
The Into Darkness.
That is. Yes.
That was a high five.
Yes.
It's so good.
I watched that one in theaters, dude.
Oh yeah, me too.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Is that the one I fell asleep at?
No, that was that was fucking episode 6 of Star Wars.
Wow. Yeah. I'm not a big Star Wars
I
guy.
can't keep
No,
up with
episode
Star Wars.
5.
Anyway, number 1 in the AFC West,
Chargers, baby.
Chargers. I mean, Herbert's going to have. Not only do I think Herbert's going to have a year to win that division, from a gambling standpoint, I'd be putting some serious jack on him for MVP. I'd be putting money on his over.
I think we need to put a disclaimer on here at some point about the G word, right?
No, we don't.
Oh, we can gamble?
Oh yeah,
Perfect.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you're good. So from a betting standpoint, I think Herbert is, depending on where you go, 10 to 12 to 1 to be NFL MVP. I think that's very possible because if he wins the NFC West, they're going to be number 1 probably in the AFC to go through to the playoffs.
Yeah.
So, man, I think that's a good bet. His over prop, I'd have to go look at what his yards prop is, but I'm sure they've got him somewhere close to 4,000 yards.
I would say he's probably around 4.
I don't.
The
fucking-
dude can sling the ball.
I don't fucking care what.
And
it
he's
is.
got a running game, too.
Yep.
See you later.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
God, and
So-
that defense is just stacked.
Defense is going to be good. So
Yeah, that team is. I mean, who knew moving to LA would make a team better? You know, that SoFi Stadium is pretty tight. So,
L.A.
where was the Super Bowl at this year?
L.A. It was in L.A.
Is it in LA? Where was
Yeah,
it
they
at
were
last
the
year?
they were the first team to win the Super Bowl.
No, I mean
This
this
coming
coming
year.
year.
Oh,
I was gonna say I'm not going back to back.
I have no idea.
Oh.
I'd want to say probably Miami because it's always in Miami.
If
Or New
Tom
Orleans.
Brady wins another Super Bowl, he is retiring. He's running off to the sunset.
Are you
He's
saying
done.
this from your ESP connection with them, or are you reading this somewhere?
I have his phone number, by the way.
Well, I'm sure you do.
Yeah, well, it's a porn bot, but you know, it says Tom Brady.
John Rady.
does it happen to go 867-5309?
No, it's a European number.
Oh,
So you got to
to
go 0011558675309. Okay.
It's on my WhatsApp.
So,
No.
Okay. So anything else NFL wise we want to talk about?
Where is Odell Beckham Jr. going to play at this year?
No.
Is he going back to the Rams?
Cleveland,
No.
Why? Why would if you were ODB? Why would you do that?
because they need him.
But does he want to go
I'm-
back to
there
that,
you go,
to
there
that
you go.
hellhole? I mean, I would just stay retired if I were him. Take a year off, heal up.
Why would you do that to yourself?
Could ODB end up in Tampa?
No, not with Julio Jones there already. There's no way. What's he gonna do? Play center too? Because they just lost Ryan
So-
Jensen.
I don't know what the cap situation is, but the Cowboys.
Oh yeah, you guys just lost two Williams for the year.
Yeah.
Or is
for
it
the
the
first
year?
7 games.
I don't understand why he doesn't go to just like Seattle or something where you're gonna lose every game, but you're gonna go pretty much. You know, you got a guy there like DK who's gonna be
well paid.
the guy there, so you just hang out.
So I kind of like your idea of Dallas. I think you guys are in trouble, Cowboys fan.
Yeah, you are.
Amari Cooper's a goner. He was your number. Like, he was getting significant targets last year.
Wait, was it? His targets fell off last year.
Who is your number one
But
receiver?
CD Lamb.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, compact disc Lamb. Yeah.
Have you guys seen that tweet of him getting drafted and his girlfriend takes his phone and she just
Yes.
snatches
Yes.
it? I'm like, that dude is hiding something. It is hilarious.
And she was really hot.
I'm gonna show you the video.
It was an amazing video.
Hilarious.
So number one is now compact dick Lamb, and then who's your number two?
Compact dick Lamb.
You heard me. You heard me. Who's your number two?
I honestly don't know.
So Odell Beckham might be a.
Oh, here we go, TJ. You ready? You ready for this? This is hilarious. Excuse the sound, podcasters, but
God, she is hot.
she is hot. Look at those legs. But that is hilarious, though. That dude snatched that phone
Oh.
so quick. Oh,
Oh, that was an old contract.
yeah.
Okay, so
let's talk
Los
about-
Angeles. Oh, yeah. Okay, so that would work. Okay, so he'll probably sign for more than 1.2. Well, I don't know. He just blew his ACL.
Why would you go there though? I mean,
To
Dallas?
Yeah.
I think that would be a
I think it'd be a good spot.
a
For him.
hot
Really?
spot.
I don't buy it. I mean, I would just.
You get Dak. You have a two-headed running game.
Well, no, I get that, but I mean, he just tore his knee is gone. He needs to. He's probably gonna be sitting out for half the season. Do you think
Well,
Dallas
that's a
is
good
gonna
point.
get him?
Yeah, that's a good
No.
point.
So bring him in on the cheap.
Well, he's probably already going to be coming in on the cheap.
He wants to go to a playoff team. He ain't the Dallas.
Dallas can
Dallas
still
is-
be a
Dallas would be a playoff team, but they're gonna lose.
They're gonna win.
lose first round probably.
well, of course.
Well, they're going to win their division.
Well, yeah. They got the Eagles.
I'm
and
not totally convinced of
Giants.
that.
The Eagles might have
The
a
more I'm
shot
starting
at
to
it.
think about Philadelphia, AJ Brown being in Philadelphia, I think is actually a thing.
Miles
Like,
Sanders, they got a good team over there.
Makes me think of Colonel Sanders.
Are you hungry?
yeah, and his defense of Fort Wonton.
I had some egg rolls
It's sugar and spices.
and everything nices.
Those
So-
are powder puff girls.
And if I remember right,
Oh, what's
did-
the bad guy's name? Or the monkey? the
monkey, yeah.
the big old head? Andy.
You were too old for this.
Yeah.
Anyways, back to the Cowboys. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't buy it.
I think
at all.
I think that's a good landing spot for him is Dallas.
You know, why am I not the GM?
I think he'll probably end up in Baltimore, somewhere like that. Where
Baltimore could use him.
what's his face? Hollywood Brown just got arrested, by the way.
For going like 105
Yeah.
miles an hour at
Well,
7 a.m.?
all we know legally is that he was over the speed limit by 20 miles or more at 7:05 a.m. on a Wednesday.
Good thing it wasn't in Vegas and no people involved.
So,
Hashtag Mr.
let's
Ruggs.
not automatically assume he was drinking. Sometimes I will look down at the gauge and I'm like, oh, I need to slow down. It happens.
You gotta go from 40 to 35.
The weed gauge? What gauge are we
Nah,
talking about?
I handle my 3 chai responsibly.
Oh, don't bring them into this.
No,
Yeah,
I'm
they
saying
suffer enough.
I'm saying I use their products responsibly.
Yeah.
No, I've hammered down on the steering wheel a little too hard, and
Wow.
sometimes happens at 7
Yeah.
in the morning.
This is a good transition for fantasy talk. Football fantasy.
How do you want? I don't want to bore the ass casters with the minutia of the day to day, but maybe we can talk about some the first draft.
Well, the first round. Nobody cares who's you're gonna draft.
Oh,
Wow.
I was thinking we tell the ass casters about our very first draft.
I don't think I remember our first draft.
Oh, I think everyone does.
The
Well,
first public draft.
the first
For-
public
Oh,
draft.
the Waltz draft?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh.
not Matt's league, like the league that we made where Joel was a participant.
The Devil League.
I mean, we can tell the story.
Well,
I don't remember much of it. I think I was too busy trying to do the three wise men or something like that. Again, Natty, Natalie, and Lee.
Yeah, it was pretty brutal. So, we go to Waltz.
Waltz, by the way.
Waltz is a hole-in-the-wall
bar.
bar.
Hey.
And really not a whole lot of people go to have a draft at. I mean, the lighting isn't very good. The sound is terrible. But anyways,
They're redoing it right now.
so
The women are soft.
spare you the details. We
They're from Houston.
are drafting NFL players, and behold, a bachelorette party walks in, and all bets were off.
Long Island iced teas were also $5 that night.
That was before Biden inflation, too. That got you like a whole fucking drink.
You got all 5 shots.
Yeah. And, I mean, I think I saw, like, a pair of boxers flying through the air.
I lost my boxers.
Yeah. It was a complete shit show. So we finished drafting, and we're at the bar, and our buddy Joel is sitting next to me, and I keep hearing what seems like somebody tapping the bar, like, I need a drink. Like, tap, 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 tap. But I didn't see his hand at the at the bar tapping it. So I look over, and Joel's dick is out, and he's getting jerked off by what I can only describe as about a 55-year-old woman.
Who looked like her daughter.
And Joel was just sitting there, staring at the bar, getting jerked off under the table. At a bar.
Didn't he finger blast her as well?
I think after this romantic moment at the bar, didn't he take her back to the
Jeep.
the old stabbing wagon?
The old stabbing wagon. Anyways,
Showed her
so
what a stick shifter really did.
while this is going on,
American Steel.
American muscle, baby. This is all going on. Fucking, we're sitting here trying to talk the bride off the ledge. She's like, my mom is such a slut. She's always getting laid before I get laid. And
a real tragedy if you would have seen the two, by the way.
And to save the day, our buddy Matt walks in. And
His feet were wet.
The bride is crying. And she looks at Matt and says, my mom is such a whore. I don't understand why you guys are looking at her and not at me.
She was the bride, right?
And Matt says, honey, it's not that your mom is hotter than you are. It's that you're fucking ugly. And walked away. And then soon after, the guy with a shotgun showed up.
And then
Meanwhile, Joel's finger blasting in the Jeep.
Joel is in the Jeep knocking boots.
and the best part, Joel goes out to the Jeep, kind of doesn't tell anyone, and he moved his Jeep from the front of the bar literally to
the
100
Ecuadorian restaurant.
It was a
parking lot.
Chinese restaurant at that point.
At the time, yeah.
It was literally 50 feet away. He moved his Jeep 50 feet away so no one would see him. And then Carlos...
Carlos, didn't you have to check if he had gas in that Jeep or something?
I did. I was like, the bride says, well, my dad's on the way, and he has guns. And I'm like, well, I don't really believe you, but I don't want to risk it. So I go out looking for Joel. I'm thinking he's parked at the Holiday Inn down the street.
The Holiday Inn.
But no, he's parked at the Chinese restaurant. So I walk over to his car, and I open the door, and Joel is butt naked. and he kicks the girl out, the mom. And Joel is looking for his car keys, and he throws them at me. And I started the car.
He said, get me out of here.
Yeah, Joel's like, get me out of here. There was a man coming to kill me. So I'm driving down the street with Joel's butt naked in the back seat. Oh my god. And that's why we're not drafting at Waltz ever again.
Askcasters, we had to disband that league.
Oh shit.
It was too contentious.
I'm pretty sure we had to put Joel's car in the garage or in the driveway because there was a man with a shotgun looking for Joel, looking for whoever banged his wife, who apparently does that a lot. Because the bride was like, she always does this. She always bangs my friends and before I do.
What?
Reminds me of the girl that I met in Vegas who was a Mormon. She said, "Oh, yeah, I have a husband, but it's okay. I have 2 boyfriends." She had purple hair.
Dude, I guess that's the way to look at it.
Yeah.
Just put your bonnet on and get freaky.
Oh.
Speaking of banging people that look like their daughters.
Why are you looking at me?
Because you know the story. Bear Lady.
Bear lady.
You remember the lady that used to sell bears at Waltz? The little teddy bears?
No, that wasn't Waltz. That was Shenanigans. Because that was the night. That was Shenanigans. Because I paid a good $10 for a mini bear and like a plastic rose for Mom.
Are you sure about this?
Yeah, because that same night it was Nick's birthday. Our Nick, we don't know your name, person. It was Nick's
Jack
birthday.
of clubs.
Jermaine.
Yes, Jermaine.
Oh, Jermaine.
Nick Jermaine. It was his birthday, so we were all at Shenanigans, and that was the night you guys all left. And Andy, I hadn't really drank that much. Like,
What year was this?
2000. This is like I was
1989.
I would say, wow.
I was still in college.
Oh, so you were in your prime of drinking.
1990.
I was still. It was my social drinking level, so I was.
We used to drink at the library, TJ. That was not socially drinking. We were just alcoholics.
I told that story, but yeah. Fuck, what were we talking about, boys?
Bear Lady.
The Bear Lady.
No. I'm going to give a little bit of pushback. I am convinced that I knew Bear Lady from a combination of Waltz and Jerry's.
Oh,
And then I
She
remember,
was at Jerry's.
and then I remember that I ended up back at her goddamn house, and we went downstairs in the basement.
You went to Bear Lady's house?
Do you not know this story?
No, I didn't know you went to her house.
So anyway, she
Dude,
steals.
it was
she-
Bear Lady.
I know.
You went to Bear Lady's house?
I had nothing.
Remember
to
Dumpster Girl?
Oh, we can get there too. So I was just sitting there
Jessica.
shooting billiards like a good young man,
Let's go pools.
and I think Bear Lady saw my nice attractive ass as I was leaning over the table taking jump shots.
Your Angry Birds fucking boxers.
This was I think this was before Angry Birds.
They were called Angry Worms.
Angry Chicks.
This was like Hogan Alley boxers or something like that. So anyway, I'm leaning over anyway. The Bear Lady took me home one day, and we get back to some stabbing cabin in a city I won't name for legal responsibilities. And we go all the way downstairs, and she puts me in the bed, and she goes, "This is my daughter's bed." And I'm like, "Oh,
I didn't know.
Man.
That's the same lady that was selling the bears?
That's the Bear Lady.
That just now clicked.
That's Bear Lady.
You are a disgusting human
I had
being.
nothing to do with it. I was taken advantage of for my young hot body.
You're hot.
Oh my god.
And then what was even worse, after we did the deed,
I need to go gargle
Ugh.
some holy water
and
and some salt,
here's the finishing move
some
after
bleach.
that.
some bleach. I'm going to start drinking again.
So
Andy,
After-
I've never told you this before, but I am ashamed of you.
thank you.
we
That's
we
why we're
met a
friends.
girl, Andy, that you invited over who was affectionately called Mud Squirrel.
Ashtray.
Ashtray.
Cayenne pepper. She was the dirtiest mud squirrel
Oh, there
I had.
it is.
Oh,
We have holy water We have holy water in the house.
I made that yesterday. I boiled the shit out of it.
It's Palm Sunday, get it?
Old man, you boil the hell out of it. That's why it's holy water.
Oh, I'm burning.
Oh, man.
That's the first shower Annie's taken in a couple days.
I haven't seen that much liquid sprayed in this basement since last week when I puked.
Ugh.
You got your head wet.
Well, that's what she said. So anyway, let me put a bow on this story with Bear Lady. So I'm over
cost you
there.
$10.
I'm already ashamed. She was thinking I should perform better as a young man twice or half her age, to which I said no. I've drank way too much. And then, so I lean over and I look at the counter.
Barely.
Okay, so
Mic check one, Bear Lady.
Dude, somebody's gonna sue us. Somebody make an LLC.
well,
about
the reason
this.
I'm telling this story is because I think the statute of limitations are done by now. I think I'm
Okay,
still
good.
good.
So,
anyway.
did you get... Was this technically a rape?
Did you eat her out?
No, I was still. No, this was one of those. That would have been if I would have been in decent shape with enough B12 in me. That's what I would have done. But I was ready to go to sleep. So she took control.
This is the worst sex story ever.
No, you gotta let me get to the end.
This
of
is
it,
not
though.
very erotic.
Okay, so anyway, we're done having sex.
Our listeners are going soft.
This
right
is
now.
pathetic
Going
and
limp.
sad.
Conversation is just limping along.
So anyway, we're done having sex. I lean over and try to go grab my beer that's on her little counter, and it's her daughter's driver's license.
Oh, I heard about this
that's
story.
on the goddamn counter.
I didn't know this was Bear Lady.
That's Bear Lady.
Oh, good for you.
Okay, so let's. Man. Anyway.
What's next on the little list here? We're done with Andy's erotic stories.
They're pretty hot. I got a free bear out of that
I got
whole
some
deal.
questions. Because
I have a lot of questions. This is what? How long are we in?
We're in an hour.
Okay, good. This might go for 2 hours. We have a lot of questions.
Is Audrey busy?
No, she's at home. It's fine. She's very busy.
So
I saw
you...
her the other day
I know. She said. She texted me. I saw Pat at Dylan's. I said,
I have
"What?"
to piss.
at the gas station.
Okay.
Let's gather up some thoughts here about Andy's erotic lifestyle.
So here's
It is very sad.
he. So I don't know how. I mean, Carlos, you were with him more than I was for the Colleen story, the vegetarian.
Yeah.
I'll start. I mean, I'll tell the Askcasters what I did with his phone the first part of that night in Vegas. I don't think you knew about it. He left his phone in my hotel room and then went out and partied because it was in Vegas. And then I subscribed him to Tinder Plus and messed with all of his...
Yeah. Oh, I remember that. Yep.
He had so many hot dudes after him. He had
Grindr.
so
I should
many...
have signed up for Grindr that night.
He had so many dudes coming at him.
The Colleen story is pretty fucking hilarious.
Well, that was after the Colleen story was after the dudes were blowing his phone up.
Oh, speaking of Grindr, listen to this shit. So we go to the 311 concert. Me and, Tyler, all these guys go out. The crew. Joel was there? Anyways, so obviously, in between sets, we go and just get beers. So we're hanging out by the bar, and this guy comes up to Tyler, and he goes, "Hey, aren't you Kyle from Grindr?" And Tyler looks at him and he goes, "No, man, that's not me." And immediately looks at us and he goes, "What the fuck is Grindr?" And I said, "Well, it appears that somebody used your picture, and his name is Kyle."
Oh, really?
Somebody made a fake account with Tyler's picture on Grindr.
Oh.
It was hilarious. This guy's like, "Aren't you Kyle from Grindr?" And Tyler's like, "No." And he goes, "Yeah, man, you're Kyle from Grindr." And the best part about this is that Tyler didn't really know what Grindr is or was at the time.
Yeah.
We had to explain that to him. So
Well, I just started the online dating thing, and I didn't know what I was doing.
if you look on Plenty of Fish and find an account with the name Esmeralda Trouser Stains,
I think I have a date with her next
do
week.
not reply to her.
Oh, we got a thing going.
What was our account with Due Date that we had?
Remember Andy? It was Esmeralda from the mountain, wasn't it?
And I get him confused because between
J-Day and
between-
plenty of fish.
between silvermingland.com and
Do the
Black Farm-
Askcasters know what we're talking about right now, or should I kind of
You should
elaborate?
go ahead and elaborate.
Okay, so Andy, Carlos, I think our buddy Ryan, and
no, it was just Andy and I.
oh, it was just Andy and Carlos began making fake online dating accounts, including JDate, ourtime.com, and
Plenty of Fish.
Plenty of Fish.
I think we even made a lesbian profile at one point.
Well, for the silver people, for the what is it? Ourtime.com, they used a.
Did you call them the silver people?
It's like there's another one that's like silverpeople.com or silvertime.com or something like that. But ourtime.com, and they used like this was the first time that like the aging TikTok technology was out. So they did the I'm an old person filter and put their picture on it. And did you guys get much traffic?
Hell yeah! I about went on a date with somebody.
I'm pretty sure we were. That's about the time that Mud Squirrel came knocking on the door because we thought that it was somebody that had found who we were. Because me and Andy were sitting there and we're like, I'm pretty sure we were about to go to like Crummies or something.
Well, if it was silvertime.com, it would have been Jerry's again.
And it was probably at 6 p.m.
Yeah, because we had to wake up at 4 a.m. to get the paper.
And that's a good story too, the Mud Squirrel story.
It's like Jerry's isn't the best
Alright.
place to pick up chicks.
I gotta go potty.
But it is definitely like the specialized like wildlife park of picking up cougars.
So while he's up there, Askcasters, apparently this is no longer a sports podcast, but I will tell you, one of
It's
the
a slow time in
one
the
of
sports
gr-
calendar.
one of the greatest stories in the history of stories, right now. Myself and another gentleman who's going to remain nameless, he and I were playing pool at this bar called Jerry's. And we were being watched by some older ladies who told us in between shots that we need to come over and talk to them and visit with them. And mainly what their purpose was is they wanted to let us know about their daughters. I feel like you're getting ready to say something.
I feel like this is. I know we've had a cougar hunt at both places, but did we have a cougar hunt at both Dudley's and Jerry's where the older ladies were trying to hook us up with their daughters?
No, only at Jerry's.
I had. Remember when you? Okay, tell this story.
So, Nameless and I are shooting pool. And we start to migrate off the pool table and just talk to the older ladies who want to show us pictures of their daughters. And man,
cougar hunts.
do they have a lot of pictures of their daughters. So, we sit there, shoot the shit with them for a long time, and then the bar is getting ready to close down. So I think this was pre-Uber, and I think I was blacklisted from every cab company in the state of Kansas at the time. So our options were very limited on how to get back to my unnamed
How were you getting
combine.
How were you getting blacklisted from cabs?
Do you remember the guy that left me that voicemail when we were at Dudley's?
Yes.
This guy left from a cab company left me the longest voicemail.
I forgot about this.
I did not. To this day, I am scared to order a cab. This guy's gonna show up. This guy left me about a 10-minute voicemail about how shitty of a person I was because Andy and I were at Dudley's and we were plastered. So I called a cab and then scheduled it for 2 a.m. And Andy and I ended up at a party at some house. And it was like 1 in the morning, so the cab showed up to Dudley's, and we weren't there. And then the next morning, I woke up, and I'm like, you have a voicemail from this number. I'm like, oh, this is good.
And he was on the phone for 10 minutes.
It was hilarious.
I remember when you checked that voice message.
This guy was just... Oh.
Were we down in the basement when you were checking that one?
No, we were at Andy's apartment.
Oh,
So anyway, tying a bow on this cougar story about pool. So unnamed pool player and I have to leave the bar.
Talking about Ming? Because you can name him.
So we decided to walk home. Unnamed is almost falling into traffic on Central and Ridge. And I said, hey, as long as we can get to my apartment, we'll be just fine. Sounds like a great idea in theory. But all those goddamn buildings look the same. So, as I told him...
Is this a climbing story?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I know who this unnamed person is.
I told Mr. Unnamed, I said, hey, as soon as you see the lake, I was like, we're good. So...
Was it frozen?
Somebody saw the lake. And I go up to my door on the second floor and take out my key. First key doesn't work. Second key doesn't work. Third key doesn't work. So Unnamed, looking at me struggling with the set of keys, says, hey, you got this figured out, or do you need me to kind of just hop up onto the second floor balcony and we'll just enter in from the balcony? I was like, well... The way this is going, Unnamed, probably going to need you to fucking climb up the balcony. So, Unnamed goes and performs his Donkey Kong shit over there while I'm still there trying I think I tried my car key, which was pretty amazing because, you know, I don't drive cars. It's Saturday at 2 a.m. And then, luckily, as I'm finagling with the door opens from the inside of my apartment. I was like, oh, this is so great. And so Unnamed opens the door, and I look in there, and we both just kind of stare into the darkness.
There was flowers in there.
Yeah, I think there was a ChristianMingle.com membership bill that somebody didn't pay. And I looked at Unnamed, and Unnamed looked at me, and we both realized at that point we had broken into the wrong apartment.
Oh, that's good stuff.
So I was fine with that. I was like, oh, okay, well, at least if I broke into this apartment, I think I know where the real apartment is.
I can bring it to my own apartment now.
But Unnamed was a little bit more perturbed than I was and said that we had committed something called breaking and entering. And he was like, you know, I think I'm going to drive my motorcycle home. And I was like, oh, is the guy that just walked into the street on the way over here? I don't think that's a good idea. And he's like, you know what? All things considered, I think I probably should. And he did.
Do you remember the guy that died on 235?
Yes, with oh my god.
What was that
man.
guy's name that tried to resuscitate him?
Stats and Tidewater.
Stats. Tidewater. Talk about a guy. We ended up at Denny's that night. After Tidewater tried to bring... This guy got hit by a semi.
What a day. This is, if you know the details of this, you have to tell the story. Because if you don't, I do.
Well, yeah, you better tell it. I know the details, but it'll be better if you tell it because you were
Plastered as
there.
well.
You were in the car.
I
was in the other car.
This actually started at a bar called Biggs.
I was gonna say Biggs, yeah.
Started at Biggs. Biggs closed down. All of the alcoholics said, hey, now it's time to go grand slam it over at Denny's. And so the drunks attempted to get over to Denny's. But for some reason, I think that we either couldn't find Denny's or decided not to go to Denny's. And so we circled back around and said, okay, we're going home. So as we're going home away from Denny's, at this point probably a solid 2:30 or 3 in the morning, on one of the most populous interstate roads in all of the nice little town that we live in, there were emergency lights everywhere to the point where we couldn't proceed through traffic. So we knew something was up, and myself and another unnamed individual in the car said, it's probably a good idea now that this car is stopped that we probably just stay here and be stopped, because if anybody looks at our car, we're going to jail.
We were all wasted.
But the driver of the car thought that was also not a good idea. So Tidewater not only decides that we're not going to stay silent, he actually jumps in to save the day.
He's that dude, though.
He runs out of the car that he's driving in intoxicated and tries to run as close as he can to the dead body in the middle of the road to resuscitate him. To which the paramedics and emergency personnel told him was not really necessary.
My favorite line from that night was, "Yeah, that fucker is dead."
Holy shit!
You morbid fucks.
Oh, dude, that was.
Oh.
Hey, we ended up going to Denny's, and I got a grand slam.
I have never.
You made it to Denny's.
Yeah.
We never made
You
it.
never, I
No,
did, yeah.
We tried.
I don't even know what's on a Grand Slam.
Sausage, bacon,
Fat,
eggs.
calories, and
Yeah.
I think
A lot of drunk food.
the last time I went to Denny's, it was when I was working overnights at the place.
The jail.
At the,
Giving,
yeah, at the
giving,
jail.
giving NJs to inmates
I was passing the heroin for the big dealers.
in your butt.
Oh yeah, my butthole can hold so much heroin.
Speaking of buttholes, Brittney Griner should have
Yes.
definitely snuggled that weed in her butt.
I'm sure she had plenty of room.
What in the hell is going to happen to her?
Well, the sentence of 9 years.
9.5. I'm here for details.
9 years and 6 months, baby.
It is so tied up in what's going on in Russia and Taiwan and China.
It is.
It's not even a sports story anymore.
It is not a good time to be an American in that side of the world.
Yeah.
It is not a good time.
It's a pretty tough day to be a 6'9" African American with tattoos that happens to smoke weed occasionally.
Yeah.
Lesbian. by the way.
And
Russia's a huge fan of those people.
yeah, well, they're saying 9 years and 6 months, and then now we await for U.S. and Russia negotiations, and we know how well those go. So,
I
Brittney
think
Griner is gonna do 9 years and 6 months in prison
If it makes
in Russia.
if it makes Brittany feel any better, we are looking to negotiate an exchange between Brittany Griner and some guy named I believe his name is Dr. Death.
No. That's Dr. Gavorkian. He's
I
Dr.
thought-
Death. This
I-
guy was called the Merchant of Death because
the
he was a
merchant-
guns
excuse me,
dealer.
he sells it.
I thought we were gonna negotiate for Ivan the Terrible.
Nah.
Have you seen that documentary? It is nuts.
What's that on?
It's on
I was
Netflix.
too busy watching the Megalodon.
The Meg with Jason Statham. So good.
I was watching Blazing Saddles last night.
So anyway, Brittany Griner's fucked.
Yeah, she is fucked. But dude, like,
Fucked.
one, I feel so terrible for her.
I don't know. You went to Russia. You brought weed. You know the fucking rules. I'm pretty sure that they are well aware of how that would have played out.
But if you're
So
if
yes,
you're
I do feel bad because here it would have been a slap on the wrist, pay a fine, whatever. There, it just sucks that she got caught in the worst place to get caught with weed.
And with I don't know what her travel schedule was leading up to that, but when you, when you are traveling, you should be cognizant of what's in your bags at all times. But if you are moving from place to place or country to country,
They were there to play an exhibition game.
right? But sometimes you forget where you're at.
It's because you're high.
That too.
In Russia. That is just, it sucks. I definitely get what you're saying. Believe me, like, I don't think anybody should go to prison for smoking weed.
Hell no.
I mean, it's stupid. But she knew what she was doing. That sucks. And that I'm pretty sure that's why they're like, hey, trying to make an example out of her, pretty much.
Well, and then to Andy's point, she's an African American,
yeah.
6'9", 7". She's not 7
And
foot.
Nancy Pelosi
And
decides
happens
to
to
go
be-
to fucking time.
Whoa.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe she'll come home eventually, but I don't see this playing out very well for her because
It's not working
So-
out
so-
well.
she got sentenced, and then now it's into a U.S. Russia negotiation. I saw a movie like this one time. It's called Bridge of Spies. Have you guys seen that movie?
Is that with Owen Wilson?
No, it's with Tom Hanks.
Oh, no, I haven't seen
It's
that one.
really good.
Oh,
You
I mean,
should
it has
watch
Tom
it.
Hanks.
You should watch it. But that's when that was in the Cold War, and when Russia last negotiated with the U.S. it took very long. It took a couple years.
It was the
so.
dude, the U2 plane flyer. Yeah,
He got shot down in Russia, and then in the meanwhile, the U.S. found a spy here from the Soviet Union, and they tried to negotiate with each other. It took a while, so I don't think Brittney is getting home anytime soon.
She's not. I hate to say that, and I hope
And
the best.
what about all these comments about had LeBron done that? Do you really think he would have been home had it been LeBron or somebody major to the NBA?
Ronaldo? Or,
We would have had LeBron out.
I will say this: as much as I don't like Trump, that motherfucker would have had her home a month ago.
Yeah, because he would have sold.
No, it's because he saw an opportunity, like bring a African American female home.
Lesbian with tattoos, by the way.
Exactly.
Throw that in there.
Get those votes, baby.
Or, excuse me, potentially bisexual.
Yeah, but it's okay. Biden had COVID though.
She
so.
once grinded something.
Sure.
You don't be a hypocrite. He would have done that.
Sure.
He would have had her home.
Sure.
I'm gonna cut your mic.
I have control.
I can still cut your mic.
Then we cut everything.
Okay.
So
Ask Asher. See you next week.
last topic of the day. I don't think we've gone enough in detail into a guy named Jizz.
Yep.
Let's discuss.
Jizz?
Let's talk about this guy's name, who he plays for, him impregnating 4 goals, all the other things that
pounding them in.
Who is this guy?
His name's Jizz.
So he's a Dutch player, and he plays in the 2nd division.
What's his full name?
He just moved right from like
Jizz
Nottington-
Hornkamp.
Oh,
from Nottingham to.
He plays for Willem 2. I don't know. But
He's not in the EPL.
No, he plays for the Dutch league. As I said many a times. I don't think he plays in. I don't think he's Division 1.
No, I don't think it.
They play.
I hope they
oh,
promote.
never mind. They do play in Division 1 in Dutch football.
Oh, look at that. I hope. Ooh,
My
look at that.
bad. My
So we-
mistakes for the
Jizz could be everywhere.
Dutch. He could erupt at any time.
Dude, he's all over the net.
Yep.
The net was black before he got there, and now here it is.
I honestly don't know a whole lot about that guy. So
I've done my homework on Jizz.
The
And you know
EPL?
what I
Have you
found?
really?
Yeah.
the
All right.
EPL is back though. So could we see some Jizz in the EPL soon?
I tend to not like to see Jizz in my EPL, but now knowing that Jizz is here, I am looking forward to watching Jizz in the Belgium or the Dutch league.
Everybody in the EPL is with some Jizz.
Well,
Andy, what can you tell us about Jizz?
That it takes a lot of work to get out of there.
That's
But then once it
That's
does,
it.
it feels better.
Is busting a night? Is busting a rhyme like busting a nut? Hell no, man!
Well,
right.
that was short lived.
So let's get this episode 7 to an end. Let's final comments. I think we have room for probably 2 minutes of comments. Final comments for the Asscasters, and we'll fold up shop and go think about all this nastiness we've done in our lives.
Drink some beer.
Let's start with Scrode. Scrode, 2 minutes.
Asscasters, we, the last 2 episodes we didn't get a lot of sports in. It's kind of slow, so we kind of had fun with these last 2 ones. But we are excited for the upcoming schedule. We got college football coming up. Notre Dame, I'll say it again, has the 2023 and 2024 best recruiting classes in the nation. They just picked up I'm not even looking at it. They just stole an LSU 4-star linebacker from LSU who was living on LSU's campus. Marcus Freeman picked him out of, literally off of LSU's campus.
Funny that a man named Freeman liberated an LSU player. Think about this. Makes me want to go watch the Green Mile tonight.
I'm going to go home and pretend I never did this. Off to you, Carlos.
Well, EPL is back. Yeah, buddy. Hey, watch out. And I mean, watch out for Arsenal this year. They
Dude, you
might.
cared.
They will not win the EPL, but they might be second.
Whoa!
They are stacked with young talent. So good.
So
so
you
good.
have Man City,
I got Man City winning it.
and
And
then
I think I have Arsenal. Then I have Liverpool. It's gonna be a close fight for second, but Arsenal is going to be playing UEFA Champions League soccer
Whoa!
next year.
they need to. It's been how long?
I love it. I am excited. It's been about 3 years, I think. Yeah.
They've had some.
Fuck Manchester United. They are not gonna do anything.
You know, didn't Nate end up going to Manchester United or not Man United, Man City?
Who's Nate?
Nate from
He went to West Ham. Ted Lasso late?
yeah.
Yeah. West
Oh,
Ham.
he went to West Ham.
Yeah.
Oh no, it was Jamie Tart who was
Jamie
Tart.
Tart. Jamie Tart. Anyways, yeah, watch out for that. And yeah, I think that's really all I have. EPL is back, exciting. La Liga's not back yet, but Barcelona is not going to be able to subscribe their new signings. Breaking news here. You heard it here first.
I didn't hear you.
They signed Lewandowski, Rafinha, and it all hangs on the shoulders of Frankie de Jong. If he does not leave, then he is not going to liberate up any cap space for them to sign Lewandowski and Rafinha. Woo!
Wow.
Shout out to my buddy Greg. I won't say his last name, but it rhymes with rock.
Mr. Petra.
He's a huge Barcelona fan, and he is going to be devastated. And that is all. Andrew?
So I think an interesting thing to look at in the NFL are going to be young quarterbacks and what is going to happen as far as progression of young quarterbacks. New York Jets have Zach Wilson, and they are the most heavily betted team on their over-under for season wins based off of mostly what they did with the draft. But is he, as the quarterback, going to be able to assist them at all?
Zach Wilson?
I don't know. And then Trevor Lawrence, I think, this year makes the sophomore leap as a legit quarterback. He has shed the scourge of Urban Meyer from holding him back.
Pervin.
He is going to have his Clemson teammate, Tyson Etienne, I believe.
Etienne, yeah.
Etienne is going to be healthy this year. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to make, at least from a stat standpoint, I think is going to make a significant move this year from last year to where he's at this year. I don't know. Jacksonville may end up with 4 to 6 wins total, but I think he's going to actually show some merit. Poor Chicago. Justin Fields has absolutely zero up in Chicago. As talented as he might be, they're in big trouble. They're going to be in contention. Chicago is going to be in contention with Atlanta and Seattle as the worst teams in the NFL, despite everything that Justin Fields could potentially do. And then the final quarterback that is really young, that I think is somebody to keep eyeballs on, Trey Lance with San Francisco. Mm-hmm. Man, he's got everything you could want around him. That defense,
athletic as hell.
Defense is solid. They got Deebo Samuel back. He's signed. He's ready to go. Man, if you would think that Kyle Shanahan is the coach that has been suggested by some people as some type of a quarterback whisperer. He's the one that made the call.
Quarterback guru.
He's the one that said they don't need Jimmy G anymore. And if they don't need Jimmy G anymore, that's saying that they are ready to go with Trey Lance right now and that Trey Lance is going to be more productive than Jimmy G. So if that's the case, watch out. And then maybe we need to have the conversation next week. We had the conversation this week on what the
Are you my dad?
Yes.
We had the conversation this week on the AFC West. Maybe next week we talk about the NFC West and where they line up.
Well, call me into your office and we'll have a conversation.
I will spank you thoroughly, Burl.
Okay. And on that note, we
Askcasters, we'll see you next time.
See you next time.
see you guys.